Are you thinking about giving up and moving on from manifestation? Are you feeling frustrated that things do not seem to be working out in your favor, or that you're not seeing the results that you have been working really hard towards receiving? If this sounds like you, if you are having trouble and ready to throw in the towel when it comes to manifestation, then please watch until the end of this video because we're going to discuss what to do when it feels like it's time to move on. What is up, you guys? I am Missy Renee, and today we're going to talk about moving on from your manifestation, or giving up trying to manifest whatever it is that you want. So if manifestation and conscious creation are topics that you are interested in learning more about, definitely be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell icon so that way you're notified when I release new content every week. If you're interested in more resources such as one-on-one coaching, I will have the link down below along with some other resources, so definitely check it out. So this is another request video that I received from a subscriber asking me, when is it time to move on? Or when should you throw in the towel? When should you give up trying to manifest? You may be at your wit's end because you have been at this for weeks or months or maybe even years, and you have yet to see any significant results. So should you give up on your manifestation practice? And if so, when is a good time to do it? What are the signs? What are some things to look for that says that you need to just give it up already? And this has always been a really interesting question to me, because how can you give up on being yourself? And what I mean by that is we are always manifesting. It is literally impossible to quit manifesting, because no matter what, you're going to keep creating your experiences and your events and the scenarios and your thoughts, all of that depending on what you believe and what you assume to be true. So if your question is about giving up manifestation entirely, the short answer is you can't. You literally can't. And for a lot of people who say that they're wasting their time, or it feels like they're wasting their time, I don't really understand that question either, because again, when we're manifesting, we're coming from a place of feeling confident. We should be coming from a place of feeling secure and feeling loved and feeling satisfied and feeling relaxed and feeling gratitude. And why would you want to stop feeling those things? Why would you want to stop living as that person who embodies those traits? So for the last handful of years, since really getting the hang of this, I do find it really interesting that people want to give up that feeling and go back to the previous state where they were miserable. But I do understand where people are coming from and why they feel this way. I guarantee 100% of anybody who has mastered this, anybody who is fluent and consistent with the law, can attest to, at one point or another, having that feeling of frustration, having that feeling like they want to just give up because this is a waste of time, and why am I doing this? I feel silly. I feel like a crazy person. I get it. But again, it's important to remember that you cannot stop manifesting. It doesn't matter if you give up the practice or not. You are always manifesting, whether it's consciously or not. So the way to look at this is not so much, should I give up, but do I really want to go back to creating my life from a place of not even being aware of what I was doing? Do I want to go back to a place where I was creating all of these unwanted scenarios? Do I want to go back to that place where I was miserable and unhappy and depressed and anxious? Now, when you ask it in that way, it kind of sounds a bit ridiculous, doesn't it? And I think the biggest key to take away from this, and the thing that you really should remember, if you ever feel like quitting your manifestation practice, something to remember is that when you feel like that, when you feel and have those thoughts of, I just want to give up, this is a waste of time, you're saying that those desirable thoughts And those wanted feelings that you're trying to conjure don't feel natural to you. Those feelings of satisfaction and those feelings of relief don't feel real. They feel forced. It feels like you have to really work hard at changing your situation. Now, I've talked about it in previous videos, but I will reiterate again, the point of manifestation is not to change anything, at least not externally. Your only job is to embody these feelings to the best of your ability as much as possible until it begins to feel natural. And here's the thing, even though right now it may not feel natural, even though when you're trying to embody these feelings, when you're trying to move yourself into that state where your desire is already filled, even though it doesn't feel natural now, if you are able to persist, then through repetition, it will start to become easier and easier. Because when you think about it, your habits and your thoughts and your beliefs are just that. It is a thought that you carried that through repetition became second nature. All of your beliefs, all of your assumptions, all of your expectations, all of your reactions started out as a thought or an idea. And that idea was repeated over and over again. And this turned into your experience, which just further cemented that idea. And then through repetition, it felt natural. It felt completely normal. And this goes for any belief that you carry. This goes for any assumption that you hold. It was formed through repetition and became a habit, which is why when you're doing this at first, it feels so alien and it feels difficult. But that's only because you have been doing things and feeling things a certain way for a very, very long time. So much that it became a habit. And now when you try to put on a new suit, when you try to wear your new state, it's going to feel unnatural. It's going to feel like it's not real. It's going to feel a bit forced at first. Just like how you created those beliefs and assumptions that got you into the shitty circumstances, you can start to naturally feel your new beliefs and your new assumptions through the same repetition as well. Your only job when manifesting is to live those desirable feelings like they're your nature, like they're your foundation. That is it. But what we do typically is we tend to get sucked into outer circumstances. We get sucked into our old thoughts and our old patterns. We start noticing the lack. We start reacting to the outside and what the outside's telling us, and it becomes a vicious cycle. So know that what you're experiencing and those feelings of frustration are not new and they're not foreign to any of us who have been studying the law. But know that trying to better yourself as a person is never a waste of time, and you shouldn't ever be looking at it as a waste of time, because ultimately you want to make manifesting a lifestyle, and you want to do it from that base and foundation of feeling powerful and feeling gratitude and feeling success and feeling adored and feeling abundant. Again, why on earth would these be things that you want to give up on? Why would these be things that you don't want to be naturally feeling in your day-to-day versus the old state? And a question that I often get when people are feeling this way, when people are frustrated and ready to throw in the towel is, well, why is it taking me forever when so-and-so was able to do it in a week? And this person was able to do it in a month. Why is it taking me so long and they're doing it in no time at all? And that is kind of a loaded answer, because there is a multitude of things that could be keeping you from embodying that state long enough to where you see it conform in your external reality. It could be limiting beliefs around whatever it is that you're trying to do. It could be the belief that you're not able to manifest and that it's not working for you. It could be the belief that you need to do something and you need to know how it's going to happen, and you need to know the what, who, when, where, why. It could be a combination of all of the above. But a big thing that we need to get ourselves out of the habit of doing is comparing our progress and our timelines to somebody else's, because no two people are going to have the exact same trajectory and the exact same time frame, because everybody has a different set of beliefs. Everybody has their own unique identity and their own set of ideas and what they believe is true, and assumptions, expectations, etc. So it could be hard when we look at somebody else and their success story, and why did they get their SP in a couple of weeks, and here I am 4 months later and still no sign of anything. When we do this, we are also noticing that state of lack. We are again acknowledging that we are separate from what we desire to be, or who we desire to be with. Just as Neville said, every seed has its appointed hour, and we may not know exactly when your manifestation will bear fruit, but we do know that if you are able to persist in the state of that wish fulfilled, you will have it materialize in your 3D world. So I want to give you guys a couple of tips that can hopefully help you with this feeling, and what to do when you're starting to feel that burnout, and when you're starting to feel that frustration, and when you're starting to have the thoughts of, should I just give up entirely? First and foremost, I want to stress again, this feeling is normal. This feeling is natural. It is okay to feel frustrated and to feel burned out. You don't want to try to pent up these feelings or suppress them. If this is what you were naturally feeling, then process it however you need to process it. If you need to have a good cry, if you need to punch a pillow, if you need to scribble something down in your journal just to get it off your chest, then by all means do so. Because you can always go back and you can revise any of those kind of circumstances when you're feeling better. But you want to try to get through those feelings. You want to try to process them and release them, because holding on to anything like that is only going to cause it to grow and fester. So know that this is normal. Know that this is probably something that everybody at one point or another has felt, and then just work through it however you need to work through it. But once you are able to get yourself to a place of peace, and once you are able to move past those frustrations, then you can start to get back on the bandwagon. The second tip I have for you guys, remember to do the things that feel the most natural to you. Now, there is so many techniques out there that it's hard to keep up with them all. For those who follow Neville, they know that the most popular one is imagining in the state akin to sleep. But for a lot of people who are having trouble visualizing, you can try a different technique or something else if this feels too strenuous, if this feels like it's hard work, because all of the techniques serve the same function and the same purpose. They're all just tools meant to help you and get you into that state of the wish fulfilled and keep you there. So if one technique that you're trying is feeling like it's too much and you can't get it to feel natural and it's causing a lot of frustration, then try something else. Try the lullaby method. Try I remember when. Try affirmations. Affirmations are widely popular for a reason. A lot of people have found success through affirmations alone. Play around with different things and see what feels the most natural to you, because that really is a huge critical component here. If you are burnt out from a certain technique, then try another. They all serve the same purpose. They all have the same goal. At the end of the day, it's to get you into that state and keep you in that state. The one thing I will encourage everybody to do, no matter what technique you're using, is be sure that you are keeping an eye on your mental diet and you are being aware of your thoughts and your reactions and your assumptions and those inner conversations throughout your day. But otherwise, play around and see what feels the most natural to you. And no matter what that is, that's the one that you want to be using. And that's the one that you want to be consistent with going forward in your manifestation practice. Now, for me, I love visualizing. I love imagining in the state akin to sleep. But starting out, I was a terrible visualizer. I couldn't see anything when I closed my eyes except pitch black. It was something that did take some work and it did take some time. But that's my journey. That was my story. Yours may be completely different. If you're not a visual learner, if you have trouble seeing things in your imagination and getting that crystal clear picture, try hearing a conversation between you and a loved one. Try the telephone technique. Work around and play around and see what feels and works best for you. The third thing I would recommend is if you are feeling really anxious and it is starting to affect your life, it's become a real hindrance. If the burnout has gotten so bad, then take a break. It's okay to take a break from your practice. It's okay to take a break from spending all day studying and reading and watching YouTube videos and going on forums and scripting and doing all these things. If you need to step away from this for a moment to just calm yourself down and relieve some of that stress and some of that frustration, then that's fine. Give yourself some time to just calm down, relax. Then once you're feeling better, once you've started to alleviate some of that stress, then start getting back into the practice. Find what feels the most natural to you and get back on that horse. You can quit outright if you want, but you're still going to manifest whether you're consciously aware of it or not. So it's best to do it consciously for obvious reasons. But if you need to take a break, take a break. You're doing yourself a disservice if you're just feeling anxious and stressed and frustrated all the time. And that's not a place that you want to manifest from. You will not ruin anything if you take a break. You don't have to worry about your manifestation going away or anything like that. You can come back to it when you've had a chance to calm down and relieve some of that anxiety and some of that stress. Lastly, I'd recommend to start small, or maybe do it in bites. One of the biggest things that I see as a huge hindrance for people is that they're trying to go from here to way over here. And that could be well beyond your scope of belief and well beyond what you believe is even possible or fathomable. Start manifesting smaller things. Start playing around with the laws. Start doing things to test yourself and see what happens. And this is something that you should be doing anyways. This is something you should be consistently working on as you're manifesting whatever it is that you want, especially when you're new. Faith building exercises are so wonderful because each time you're able to successfully manifest something, that belief is going to get stronger. That faith in your ability to manifest is going to get more and more concrete. And then those doubts get smaller and smaller until they dissipate completely. So play around with this constantly. Turn it into a game. Make it fun. Think about something during your day that you want to manifest, not of great significance, so there's not that resistance there, but just make it fun. Imagine getting a phone call from a long-lost friend. Imagine winning a prize at work. Imagine driving down the street and seeing a hot pink race car. It could be anything, but the more that you play with this and the more that you test it and prove it to yourself, the more and more confidence you're going to build, and it's going to come naturally and it's not going to feel forced. So always, always, always be practicing and proving to yourself that the law works. Don't ever just take my word for any of this. Put it to the test, and put it to the test often. You will be amazed at how quickly those successful manifestations start piling up, and with that comes that faith and that confidence in your ability to do all this. And lastly, I just want to reiterate that it's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to feel upset. It's okay to have moments of weakness. But at the end of the day, this is something that we are constantly doing. We could not stop manifesting any more than we could stop breathing. If you are able to really step back, look at your life objectively, you will be able to see a correlation between the events that have happened to you and where you were, what state of mind you were in, the dominant beliefs that you carry, all of that. You're gonna see the direct connection between those two. If you need to take a break, if this is really starting to affect you, if it's really starting to mess with your mental health, then by all means take that break. Take care of yourself first and foremost, because no amount of feeling unloved, abandoned, sick, or poor is going to get you anything that you want. And the ultimate goal here is to get ourselves out of those bondages that have held us down for so long and have held us back for so long. So take a break if you need it, but know that ultimately this is something that you can't just turn on and off. So it's better to learn to master it than have those negative autopilot thoughts mastering you. Don't look at it like you're trying to get this thing. Look at it like you are trying to change your aspects of character to line up with the life that you desire to live, because ultimately that should be the goal anyways. And if you are able to persist, if you are able to keep pushing through the frustration, through those feelings of lack and shortcoming and impatience, it's going to pay off in ways that you could never even imagine. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, do not forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in checking out any of my other resources, I will leave the links below to one-on-one coaching, my blog, and my social links, so definitely be sure to check those out. And be sure to check out these videos over here. Each video is a different topic, but they all talk about how to manifest the very best life possible. So until we meet again, take care, be well, and never forget that you are the god of your reality and that you can do anything you want. Happy manifesting, guys.